Have you ever felt like something inside you doesn't fit into this financial system? As if your soul knows a truth that your mind still tries to deny every time you open your banking app. It's not laziness. It's not incompetence. It's not bad luck. It's a sign that has been screaming inside you for years, but that the world has insisted on muffling with bills, demands, payment slips, and the empty promise that one day it will get better. But that one day never comes, and you start to wonder why. Why do you work so hard, and the money slips through your fingers? Why do others seem to multiply without effort what you can barely hold on to? Why is there a strange, almost physical sensation that something invisible is blocking you, draining you, sabotaging every attempt at prosperity you initiate? Listen to what I'm about to tell you, because this changes everything. What is happening to your finances is not just the result of the material world. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see, and one of these layers, perhaps the most silenced of all, is the spiritual layer of money. Money is energy, and energy obeys laws that have been hidden from you since childhood. While they taught you to sweat for every penny, as if it were eternal punishment, they hid from you that there are sacred principles of provision, divine decrees, and spiritual channels of abundance that the Almighty has reserved specifically for a small portion of people on this earth, the chosen ones. And if you reached this text, if your heart raced when you read the title of this video, it is because something inside you already knows that you are one of them. Think about it. What if everything you have always felt, this tightness in your chest when opening every bill, this silent anger against a system that drains you, this irritating certainty that you deserve more and it's not greed, it's remembrance, were exactly the proof that you were not made to live in scarcity? What if the scarcity that haunts you were not your natural reality, but a spiritual prison placed upon you because they knew who you are? The Almighty did not call you to survive. The Almighty called you to reign. And from today, from the exact instant you accept this truth within your chest, heaven itself begins to move pieces that had been stagnant for decades in your financial life. That is why I have prepared a powerful ebook for you, God's Chosen Guide to Protecting the Family. This ebook is not just for reading. It is a map that shows who is playing against your financial life, what the spiritual rules are that they never told you about money, and what has been revealed about the divine channels of provision that are reserved specifically for the chosen in this time. It teaches you how to identify the invisible blocks that are holding back your sustenance, how to break the financial pacts that past generations made unknowingly, and how to open the portals of abundance that the Almighty has authorized for your household. This ebook was created for those who have awakened enough to understand that working more hours will not solve it, because the problem is not in your effort, it is in a dimension that requires spiritual knowledge to be unlocked. The link is in the first pinned comment at the top. But I must warn you, chosen one, this type of content rarely remains available for long. What is on these pages challenges narratives that many have an interest in keeping intact, because as long as you believe that money is exclusively the fruit of sweat, you remain a useful piece for the machine of scarcity, and there have been attempts to silence this knowledge before. Do not wait for the right moment. The right moment is now, chosen one, because you did not reach this text by accident. Download it now and comment below. I am chosen and I am downloading the ebook. This act of faith seals a pact between you and heaven, a decree that repositions your soul before divine provision. And now that you have decided to act, the next truth I will tell you will be the final blow against this financial oppression that has settled into your life. Because there is a very specific spiritual reason why the Almighty is raising the chosen ones exactly now. This year, this month, this very instant in history. You need to understand what is happening in the invisible to understand why your bills will begin to pay themselves the moment you accept your true identity. There is an invisible line in the spiritual plane that separates two types of people in this world. Those who were programmed to work their whole lives paying debts they do not even know where they came from, and those who were marked before they were born as channels of divine abundance. This mark is not about religion, it is not about denomination, it is not about how many services you attend. It is a mark of origin, a spiritual signature that the Almighty imprinted on your soul even before your body's first breath on this earth. And as long as you do not recognize this mark, the enemy continues to have legal permission, yes, legal permission in the spiritual court, to drain everything that reaches your hands. Have you ever noticed how money comes in and disappears mysteriously? How an unexpected bill appears every time you get paid? How a problem arises exactly when you start organizing your finances? This is not a coincidence. This is not chronic bad luck. This is a targeted attack, a spiritual programming that was cast upon your bloodline, often generations ago, and which remains active because no one in your family has yet had the knowledge to break it. Until you. Because you are the turning point of your lineage. You are the chosen one that the Almighty has raised to break the cycle, and that is why the attacks on your financial life seem so personal, because they are. The enemy knows that if you prosper, an entire family, an entire lineage, enters a new territory of blessing. God has decided to cover your bills from this day forward. Read that sentence again, slowly, letting each word sink into your chest. This is not a motivational phrase. This is not cheap positivity. It is a decree being issued at this very instant from the spiritual plane because you accessed this content in obedience to a silent calling. The algorithm is only the instrument. Who brought you here was another, and he did not bring you here to watch another video. He brought you here to seal an agreement in which you recognize once and for all that from today on, the one managing your provision is heaven, and not the desperation of earth. This changes absolutely everything. It changes the way you open a bill. It changes the way you look at your bank account. It changes the way you react when an unexpected charge appears, because now there is a greater administrator looking after your livelihood. But listen closely to this part. For this decree to manifest in the visible, there are keys that need to be turned, spiritual keys. And this is where most of the children of the Almighty get stuck their entire lives. They have the faith, they have the calling, they even have the promise. But they lack the knowledge of the keys, and without the keys, the door remains closed, no matter how much you shout, cry, or beg. The Almighty does not respond to the intensity of your prayer. The Almighty responds to the precision of your alignment. And alignment requires that you understand how money moves in the invisible before it manifests in the visible. That is precisely why, Chosen One, I need to remind you now of the e-book, God's Chosen Guide to Protecting the Family. Because everything I am revealing to you here is just the surface. In this e-book, you will find exactly the keys that break the financial curse over your lineage, the specific decrees that activate the channels of supernatural provision, and the clear identification of who is playing against your prosperity, because there are specific entities, positions, hierarchical in the plane of scarcity, acting upon marked families to prevent the chosen from awakening. The e-book gives you the name, function, and method of spiritual neutralization for each one of them. This is not theory. It is a manual of financial warfare, written for those who have the courage to assume the authority that the Almighty has already delivered. The link remains in the first pinned comment at the top, and I insist, this content challenges everything you were taught about prospering by the sweat of your brow, as if it were an eternal punishment, when in fact it was a sentence that the Savior came to annul on the cross. Many people do not want you to know this. Many industries live off your scarcity. Download it now and comment, I am chosen and I am downloading the e-book. Every word of that comment is a seed cast into spiritual soil. And now that you have reaffirmed the covenant, prepare yourself. Because the next revelation I am going to deliver to you touches on the most silenced point of all. The real reason why God has decided to cover your bills from this day forward has to do with a mission He wants to entrust to you, and without provision you would not be able to fulfill it. Listen closely. The Almighty does not bless you financially so you can accumulate. The Almighty blesses you financially so you can execute. There is an abyssal difference between a blessed child and a sent servant. The blessed child receives the bread, the sent servant receives the granary. And heaven is distributing granaries in this time, but only to those who have understood that provision is tied to a purpose. You will not receive 100 just to pay 10. You will receive 1,000 to sustain 100 others who depend spiritually on your financial obedience. This is the law of the chosen. This is the reason why the Almighty has decided to touch your bills from this day forward. Because He needs your structure standing so that a greater work can happen through you. Now understand how serious this is. If you continue to refuse this identity, if you continue to see yourself as a victim of the system, as a slave to work, as a hostage to debt, you are literally delaying a plan that involves other lives. Other souls depend on your financial liberation. An aunt you will rescue, a nephew you will put through school, a ministry you will finance, a mission you will fund, a family you will adopt, a project that only exists in the heart of the Almighty and that awaits the day when resources will flow through your hands. While you cry over bills, heaven cries over missions paralyzed for lack of the chosen one who refuses to see themselves as chosen. And here is the point that usually breaks through every emotional defense. You are not poor. You have been convinced that you are poor. There is a gigantic difference between those two sentences. Poverty can be a situation. The conviction of poverty is an identity. And identity determines a ceiling. As long as you believe deep down that people like you don't make it, no decree from heaven is fulfilled, because the Almighty respects free will even when it is used against yourself. That is why many pray for prosperity and stay right where they are. It is not the Almighty who is holding back. It is the identity that has not yet surrendered. Today is the day that identity dies. Today is the day that the poor boy who still lives in some corner of you receives the official notice. It is over. You are no longer that one. You have been transferred to another spiritual class. And from this spiritual class comes another type of person, a person who does not ask for permission to prosper, who feels no guilt for having, who is not ashamed of abundance, who knows how to manage 10,000 as they manage 10, because they understand that everything belongs to the Father, and they are merely a faithful steward of what the Father places under their responsibility. This is the chosen one. This is you, starting today. And precisely because this transformation is so deep, so meticulous, so spiritually demanding, is why I have compiled everything that the Almighty has revealed to me in these years of study, fasting, and observation within the e-book God's Chosen Guide to Protecting the Family. God's Chosen Guide to Protecting the Family. In this e-book, you will not find self-help. You will find the spiritual mapping of how money moves when the Almighty takes control of your home. You will discover what are the 3 most common breaches that the chosen ones leave open without realizing it, allowing scarcity to return even after powerful blessings. You will learn the specific decree that breaks generational financial curses at the root, not by pruning branches, but by cutting the trunk. And you will have in your hands the list of signs that confirm that the Almighty has already begun the process of paying your bills, signs that most interpret wrongly and therefore miss the blessing that had already arrived. The link follows in the first pinned comment at the top, and I need to be transparent with you, chosen one. They have tried to take this material down before. They have tried to distort it, ridicule it, associate it with things that have nothing to do with it. Because when a child of the Almighty takes possession of their financial identity, an entire empire of scarcity loses a customer, and there are gigantic interests in keeping you as a customer. Download it now and comment, "I am chosen and I am downloading the e-book." This comment is a record in the visible and in the invisible, and it is from this act of faith that the next part of the video makes sense, because now I am going to reveal to you exactly what the first sign is that appears when the Almighty begins to pay your bills from the inside out, and why most of the chosen ones pass by this sign without recognizing it. The first sign is subtle, dangerously subtle. It does not come with fireworks, it does not come with winning lottery numbers, it does not come with unexpected inheritances falling from heaven. It comes with a strange tranquility, a peace that makes no sense given the size of your debts. You wake up in the morning and, even with bills coming due, you do not feel that tightness in your chest. You look at the account and even if it is negative, you do not panic. This is not anesthesia, this is not denial. It is the silent arrival of the greatest administrator. The Almighty has taken command, and the first effect of this transfer of command is the removal of the emotional weight of scarcity. Because the one who carries the weight when heaven takes over is no longer you. Many people miss this sign because they think they are complacent. They are afraid of relaxing too much and try to reintroduce anxiety back into the equation. Big mistake. Anxiety was the fuel of the old system. In the new system, what moves the provision is rested faith, not desperation. If you learn to pray with desperation, you will need to relearn how to pray with authority. If you learn to work out of fear, you will need to relearn how to work out of a calling. And this transition is painful, because the old financial man inside you wants to return to the familiar prison instead of inhabiting the promised palace. Do not let him. Persist in peace. Peace is the soil where abundance germinates. The second sign is even more surprising. Doors that had been closed for years begin to move without you knocking. An unexpected message from someone who disappeared. A job proposal that came from a place you didn't even remember existed. An old payment that finally arrives. A discount that appears for exactly the amount you needed. Each of these things seems like a coincidence. It is not. It is heaven moving pieces silently on the chessboard of your life. The Almighty takes pleasure in surprising the chosen ones with behind-the-scenes engineering. He loves to enter through the door you didn't even know existed. And the more you recognize these movements and give thanks for them out loud, the more they multiply. Gratitude is the spiritual fertilizer of provision. The third sign is the most transformative of all. You begin to have ideas you never had before, insights about businesses, about services, about creation, about solutions that solve real problems for the people around you. This is the mind of the chosen one being unlocked. The Almighty does not perform financial miracles just by depositing into your account. The Almighty performs a financial miracle by depositing revelation into your mind. Because revelation is worth more than money, revelation generates money. And when you start receiving these ideas, listen carefully, write them down, and don't dismiss them with that old, "This won't work for me." This for me is the vestige of the old identity trying to abort the new. Kill that for me. Replace it with, "The Almighty will empower me to execute this because He is the one who gave it to me." There is still one final sign, the most silent and powerful of all, that definitively separates the chosen from those who merely admire the chosen. The change in your internal rotation regarding money. You stop idolizing, you stop fearing, you stop chasing, and you begin to govern. Money obeys those who do not need it emotionally. Money runs after those who are already free from it before they even have it. This is an ancient spiritual law hidden in passages that the modern church rarely preaches with depth. And when you enter this frequency, money itself begins to seek you out, because money is attracted to authority, not need, and authority is born from identity, and identity is born from revelation, and revelation is born from the encounter with the Father who has decided today to cover your bills from this day forward. Chosen one, this video is reaching its decisive moment. Everything said here can remain as just another memory that fades in 3 days, or it can transform into the dividing line of your financial life. The difference between these two paths is only one: what you will do with this revelation now. Faith without action is aborted faith, and heaven does not supply an aborted womb. That is why I need, one last time, to place before you the e-book God's Chosen Guide to Protecting the Family, not as a commercial offer, as a spiritual opportunity, because this e-book condenses, organizes, and unlocks exactly what you just felt inside these past few minutes. It gives you the step-by-step path to move from the place of a financial victim and assume the throne of a faithful steward of the Father's kingdom. It teaches you how to recognize the signs, how to operate the decrees, how to close the gaps, how to identify the invisible enemies of your finances, and how to protect your entire family. Because when the chosen one rises, the whole house enters a different frequency. The link is in the first comment pinned at the top. And look, chosen one, this is the last time I will call you. After this video, you go on with your life, but you go on with an extra responsibility in your heart, because you have been warned. Many have heard this type of message before and turned the page. Years later, they are still in the same place, still pressing the button to pay bills with a heavy heart, still asking heaven why the blessing never arrives. The blessing has arrived. The blessing is here. It came wrapped in this content and in the ebook that the Almighty sent me to prepare exactly for you. Download it now and comment, "I am chosen and I am downloading the ebook." This comment is your final yes. It is your spiritual "I accept" before the Father who has decided to take over your bills. It is the public gesture that seals in 3 dimensions, mind, word, and deed, that you agree with Heaven's plan for your financial life from this instant on. And when you close this video today, when you turn off the bedroom light, when you lay your head on the pillow, whisper one last phrase before sleeping: "The Almighty, I accept, I surrender, I receive, I am chosen, and from today on, you are the one who takes care of my provision." This short prayer, said with a heart warm with faith, moves angels, cancels old decrees, activates closed channels, and issues the official notice in the spiritual realm that a new financial era has just begun in your lineage. And do not be startled if, in the coming days, strange things start to happen. Do not be startled if opportunities you didn't ask for appear, if people seek you out for no apparent reason, if ideas emerging in the middle of the night. This is heaven at work. This is the Almighty fulfilling what He has decided. This is you, finally, occupying the place that was always yours. You are chosen. You are a child. You are an heir. And the Almighty has decided today that God has decided to cover your bills from this day forward. Accept this, receive this, live this, and don't forget the ebook. God's chosen guide to protecting the family is in the first pinned comment, waiting for you to make the decision that changes everything. The door is open. The time is now. And on the other side, your new financial life begins the very instant you take the first step. May the Almighty bless every cent that passes through your hands from here on out. Amen, chosen one. Amen.